Have you ever felt like you were thinking intensely about someone, almost as if they were right beside you, yet you don't receive any signals from them? They don't write to you, they don't call you, they don't reach out, yet, deep inside, you have the conviction that they are also thinking about you. But why don't you take the first step? Why does that silence weigh so heavily on you? Today, I want to take you on a journey that could transform your way of interpreting these situations. I will talk to you about a deep and surprising truth inspired by the teachings of Carl Jung, one of the most influential and respected thinkers in the field of psychology. If this topic resonates with you and you feel it might touch you deeply, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on it. You might discover aspects of yourself that you have never considered. Why does someone who seems to think about you not reach out? This question is like a complex puzzle. Sometimes it can leave a sense of confusion and frustration, and maybe even a bit of pain. But behind that silence is a world of meaning that goes beyond appearances. Jung has provided us with valuable tools to understand not only others, but also our own inner world. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like an iceberg. What you observe on the surface, thoughts, words, and actions, represents only a small part of who you are. Below the surface, in the unconscious, lie desires, fears, and motivations that influence our behavior, often without our awareness. When someone thinks of you but doesn't reach out, there may be an entire submerged universe of emotions and thoughts holding them back. It's not always because they don't care. The truth is much more nuanced and complex than we can imagine. Have you ever reflected on why? Jung teaches us that the unconscious communicates using symbols, dreams, and sensations. The connection you feel is not random. It could be your unconscious perceiving an energy or thought related to that person. But then, why don't they reach out to you? That person's unconscious might be in conflict with deep fears or insecurities. Have you ever found yourself wanting to contact someone but hesitated, thinking, what if they don't respond? Or, what if I seem too intrusive? That little voice holding you back is the ego, the conscious part of you that tries to protect you, but often ends up blocking you. Jung spoke of this conflict between the ego and the unconscious. The ego desires control, security, and certainty, while the unconscious is wilder, instinctive, and sometimes knows truths that the ego struggles to accept. When someone thinks of you but doesn't reach out, they might be trapped in this inner conflict. Their unconscious could be in turmoil, screaming your name, while the ego says, no, it's not the right time, it's not safe. This brings us to a central concept in Jung's work, the shadow. The shadow is that part of us that we tend to hide, not only from others, but also from ourselves. It is made up of fears, insecurities, and desires that we deem wrong or dangerous. When someone doesn't reach out to you, it could be that your presence touches their shadow, awakening something they do not want to confront. Imagine someone who has experienced a deep romantic disappointment, someone who has suffered from rejection or a broken heart. Even if they think of you, even if they feel there is something special between you, their shadow tells them not to take the risk, not to let go, for fear of suffering again. So, instead of reaching out to you, they withdraw, not because they don't care, but out of fear of what you represent, the risk of opening up and being vulnerable. There's more. Jung also spoke of synchronicity, those moments when the world seems to align in extraordinary ways. Have you ever thought intensely about someone and then received an unexpected message from them, or seen a clue that reminded you of that person? According to Jung, these are not coincidences. They are moments when the collective unconscious, a kind of energy that connects us all, manifests. When you feel that someone is thinking of you, it could be that your unconscious minds are in contact, even at a great distance. But if they don't reach out, it doesn't mean that this connection is absent. It may simply indicate that the other person is not ready to make it conscious. Now, you might be asking yourself, what can I do to deal with this situation? How can I understand if this person is really thinking about me, or if it's just an illusion of mine? This is a wonderful and complex question. To answer it, we need to shift the focus from why they don't reach out to what I can do. The true power lies in your hands. Jung encourages us to work on ourselves, to explore our unconscious, and to know our shadow. Start by asking yourself why it matters so much to you that they don't reach out. What does this person represent for you? Is it just a superficial connection, or are you projecting onto them something that is missing in your life? Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey towards the most authentic version of yourself. Let me share a story that might resonate with you. Some time ago, a friend of mine, whom we will call Laura, was completely obsessed with a guy who never wrote to her. She felt that he was thinking of her because she often dreamed of him and saw signs that brought her back to him. However, every time she tried to contact him, he responded coldly or didn't respond at all. Laura felt devastated and wondered, why does he behave like this? Then one day, she decided to embark on a personal growth journey. She began to keep a journal, meditate, and reflect on what that guy represented for her. And do you know what she discovered? That the guy was not just a person, but a symbol. He represented her desire to feel loved and accepted. When she started to dedicate herself to herself and give herself the love she was seeking from him, something changed. Not only did she feel stronger, but almost magically, the guy also began to reach out to her more. This doesn't mean that working on yourself will automatically lead that person to reach out, but it implies that you will stop depending on their silence. You will become the protagonist of your own story, not a supporting character in theirs. Let's return to Jung for a moment. He maintained that every relationship is a mirror. The people we meet, who attract us or hurt us, reflect aspects of ourselves. If someone thinks of you but doesn't reach out, it might be that they are mirroring a part of you that you have not yet confronted. Perhaps you too are afraid to take the initiative in some aspect of your life. Ask yourself if there is something in your shadow that you are ignoring, something that this situation is trying to teach you. We come to a crucial point: action. Jung was not just a theorist. He firmly believed that personal growth is an active commitment. It's not enough to understand. You must act. So, if this person leaves you in limbo, it's time to take your life into your own hands. Not necessarily by contacting them, but by taking control of your energy. Write a letter that you don't intend to send to express what you feel. Talk to a trusted friend or engage in an activity that makes you feel alive. Take time for yourself. Learn something new. Rediscover a passion or start meditating to listen to your unconscious. When you invest in yourself, the world around you begins to change. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should stop thinking about this person or that the connection you feel isn't real. On the contrary, Jung teaches us that these connections are precious, but they cannot define your worth as a person. Don't let someone else's silence affect your self-esteem. You are much more than an unanswered message or a call that doesn't come. If you're wondering if there's a way to unlock this situation, the answer is yes, but it's not a magic formula. It's inner work. When you start living authentically and stop waiting for others to act, you send a signal to the universe. According to Jung, the universe responds. Maybe that person will decide to contact you, or you'll discover that you no longer need them. In either case, you will be closer to the version of yourself you deserve to be. We have reached the conclusion of this journey together. If you've made it this far, it means you are ready to look within yourself with courage and determination. The truth I promised you at the beginning is this: the silence of someone who thinks of you but doesn't reach out is not a rejection, but an invitation. An invitation to discover who you truly are, to explore your unconscious, and to transform pain into opportunities for growth. Carl Jung left us a precious legacy: the possibility to see every challenge as an opportunity to become more complete and authentic. So now, the choice is yours. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what do I really want? Not just from this person, but from my life? And then take a small step toward that answer. It may seem scary, but it is also liberating. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. Keep searching for your truth, and remember, the silence of others does not mark your end, but represents your beginning.